Hello there. This is a really important video to watch. I want to talk all about why there are so many really good coaches that aren't making any money. And what a tongue twister. On the other side, why there are so many poor coaches that are actually making a fortune. And this is not just the coaching industry. This is actually all industries. That regardless of how skilled you are, regardless of how talented you are, regardless of how good you are at doing whatever it is that you can do, if you don't know how to package yourself, if you don't know how to value yourself, and if you don't know how to sell yourself, unfortunately, you won't get the business that you should, based on your qualifications, based on your capacity, based on your experience. Why? Because you won't be able to sell yourself. And this is a really interesting balance, because a lot of people are almost addicted to their studies. They want to do a cert, they want to do a training, they want to do an apprenticeship, but they have this repulsion of learning the business fundamentals that really aren't complicated. It's little tweaks that make an enormous difference when it comes to presenting yourself, packaging yourself, marketing yourself, selling yourself. But some people just don't want to do it. And what happens is, somebody would do a certain coaching, they would go to put themselves out there, they get a bit overwhelmed, feel a bit like an imposter, and go back to studying or do an apprenticeship or another training. And then they go back out to sell themselves, but the same blocks come up, the same feelings, and it's almost like a pattern kicks in. It's like imposter syndrome, back to the studies, put yourself out there, feel all the same feelings again that you haven't done anything about, but you think you are by doing more training when you're not. And so the really, really important thing, if you're watching this and if you're in the process of establishing yourself as a coach, is you need to know your business so well. And, given the example that I shared earlier, where there's so many good coaches that can't sell themselves, can't make any money, in actual fact, there are so many bad coaches that are really good at selling themselves and making a fortune. Most of those coaches don't even coach. They just concentrate on their marketing and their sales, and they have a whole support team of coaches doing the work for them, which is kind of interesting, isn't that? That you can be very good at marketing and sales and not actually be any good at the very job itself, but just because you're so good at marketing and selling yourself, you get the business. There's something to take from that, right? That regardless of all the skills that you have, if you can't build a business, you won't get the business you should. But if you're good at business, regardless of how good you are at coaching, you'll build a pretty good business for yourself. So, what skills do you want to prioritize? My high encouragement is that essentially you need to balance this. You deepen your practice, you work on yourself, and at the same time, you have to work on your business. You have to understand how to position yourself. Who are you to a customer? Why would somebody want to work with you? Really important question. Think about that. Why would somebody want to work with you? The clearer that is, the easier it is for you to communicate it, the more somebody's going to buy into that. Then they're going to ask, well, how can I work with you? And the clearer you are in terms of how you work with clients, the easier it is for them to understand, the less blocks will come up, and the more likely they are to go, that's for me, or maybe it's not. The clarity is absolutely key. Pricing's really, really important. A lot of people think that in doing this work and doing good in the world, that they should almost be like a charity. They feel difficult charging for their work, which is ridiculous actually, because as a coach, your job is to help people overcome the biggest challenges in their life, to help them take back charge of their life, to help them realize their dreams, their ambitions, overcome the things that are in their way. These are the most valuable things to people. And yet, some coaches feel like they shouldn't really be charging too much, that they're helping people. And unfortunately, if you don't put a value on your worth, how can you expect other people to value you? That's a really, really important thing. The other side as well is that if you aren't bringing in enough money to look after yourself, and to look after perhaps anybody that's dependent on you, and to deepen your practice, you're going to deteriorate. You're going to be overly stressed. And that again is going to actually have people pull away from you. They will feel your distress. They will feel you out of sorts. So you have a responsibility to value yourself and also to really look after yourself. I talk so much about co-regulation, how your energy your state radiates out. If you're stressed, you can't do the good work that you can do. If you're out of sorts, your clients will feel it. So let's not do that. It's really, really important you value yourself so others can value you. You make it very, very clear how you work with people and what it costs. And you don't feel anxious about that. Think of this. If you ask somebody how much something is and they stutter and go, it's £100, it's $100. Even if it's actually worth a lot more, you're going to be skeptical. It's going to raise anxiety. Whereas if you ask somebody how much it's worth, and they very calmly and presently, they look at you in the eyes and they say, oh, that's $100, without blinking, without stuttering. That clear communication, you feel it. It doesn't raise any doubts. It just kind of makes sense. And this is an important part. We need to know why people would work with us. We need to know how people can work with us. We need to be confident in terms of how we say how much it is. And we have to have a very clear process of how somebody engages with us. Okay, what if I say yes? Well, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. The clearer you are in terms of how you do business, the better you can communicate it, the easier it is for others to register, to connect, and to come to that decision of, yes, this is for me. Now, let me check in. Let me just catch up with things here. What are the real obstacles? What are the real distractions? What holds people back from making money? 1, imposter syndrome. So they just bury themselves in studies. I've talked about that. And it's almost like a vicious loop that a lot of people follow. Don't do that. You will never learn more than when you are literally in front of a client. Pressure's on. You're going to learn very, very quick. So learn as you do this work, not in a detached fashion. The second one, a lot of people try to, let's say, over-professionalize themselves or present themselves as so much that they're not. A lot of people want to be, think as a coach, they should be absolutely perfect. And they distract themselves with putting on this big, big performance. They distract themselves with unrealistic expectations of themselves that actually become overly burdensome and distractive. Don't do that. It plays out as well in terms of a website, in terms of social media. A lot of people are like, no, I can't put myself out there in business yet. I have to have my social media right. I have to have my website right. The fact is, until you've worked with about 10 clients and worked really well, you won't have a clue what to write on your website. This happens all the time. A lot of coaches come to me. They haven't coached anybody. They've built a big fancy website. But actually, when I chat over with them, none of it makes any sense because it's not based in experience. It's just been some idea that's been stressed out of them. So you forget about the website. A lot of people go mad on social media. It can be helpful to a point, but it can also be highly distractive. The key thing, I've talked about it in earlier videos, is learn to, 1, prioritize yourself because you are your most important client. The better you work with yourself, the better you will reflect the good work that you can do. People will see the impacts of your work in yourself and they'll gravitate towards you. And then show up as the coach that you are. Like in day-to-day conversations, in interactions, share your coaching value with people. Give people a taster of the value you can bring them. Don't be afraid to give yourself away in the early days. If you do that right, you will leave a big impact on people. They will be left wanting more. And it'll be hard for them not to tell others of how impacting it was just to have a conversation with you. You'll find very, very quickly people will get in touch and say, look, that conversation was pretty impacting. Could I talk with you again? And you build from there. As you do that, you're going to see patterns in terms of what works for you and what doesn't. And it's very simple. You double down on the things that work. You trial and experiment. Once you, if you find something that doesn't work, that's fine, put it aside and trial and experiment a new offering, a new idea, and wait till you find what works and then double down on that again. And very quickly, through trial and experience, you essentially hack the system on this. You get yourself going. One of the key things that I think is really, really important for coaches is that you learn to compete with yourself. A lot of people think if you're working for yourself, you kind of get to take things easy, to a degree. I actually think if you work for yourself, you hold a lot of responsibility. If you work in a business, they build your schedule, they kind of tell you what to do. When you work for yourself, you need to really organize yourself. You really need to discipline yourself. And if you're going to create a career, you need to organize yourself. So, my real philosophy is, as I said, you need to take it in balance. You need to focus in on your business side as much as your personal, both of which you're going to learn very, very well in action. So you might commit yourself to leaving the house, being in social environments, chatting to people, striking up conversations, trialing and experimenting, and almost coming home at the end of the day with a notepad and paper, noting down what worked, what didn't, and building your unique strategy. This is something I love. Like online at the moment, there's such an obsession with like, what's the 4-step plan for success? So what's the 5-step plan? And the fact is, that's somebody sharing their route to success that uniquely worked for them. You can copy it and you'll do relatively well. But you will never do as well as figuring out your unique way of doing business. And this is how you do it. You put yourself out there, you trial, you experiment. In trialing and experimenting, you kind of get an idea of what you want to learn. And so you research off the back of your experience, and then you trial and experiment more to the point that you, as I said, have figured out what works, you double down on that. For anything that doesn't work, you trial and experiment differently until you find it, and you double down again. And you hack your route to success. It's fun. It's really, really fun. For however fulfilling and stimulating and exciting it is to learn the coaching process, I would say equally fun. I love learning the sales process, learning the business process, learning how to really do yourself justice. The really, really nice thing about a coaching business is it's infinitely scalable. Look at Tony Robbins, multi-billionaire coach. There's so many coaches to take inspiration from as well. You can study other coaches, look at their business models, look at how they're doing business, look at what you like, look at what you don't, and perhaps take inspiration. The really key thing is take your business seriously. Don't get overly distracted with the practice. It's important, but your business is really, really important. You're doing good in the world by being a coach. You should do really, really well as a result. You take your business seriously, you will do really, really well. And that's so important because the better you do, the better you'll be able to look after yourself. The better you'll be able to look after yourself, the better you'll be able to show as a coach, the more people you will impact, and it scales up and up and up from there. It's really, really important. You take your business seriously, you do really well, you look after yourself, and you do more of the great work you can do. I hope this serves you well. Please leave any feedback, any comments, any further questions in the comments below, and I'll look forward to following up with you again soon. Thank you for watching.